If you know about Polyend, you might know about their tracker, which I have covered a bit. The Play is, in my opinion, a few levels up from the tracker, and also, in my opinion, one of the most fluid groove boxes that I've laid my hands on. And we'll be focusing specifically on the goodies that the sequencer offers. Especially for getting ideas out, it kind of reminds me of the OP1 in that way. It's very easy to make like happy accidents. For example, I'm gonna solo, I think it's this track. Yeah, that's it. And there's this randomize function right here where you can choose which parameter that you want to randomize. And so this track actually started 100% as a melodic track, and listen to where it is now. There's some snare drums just added in at the start there. I love what it's become. And once you randomize something, that's something that you could print into the track. So for example, let's try, I'm gonna go to percentage, whatever, 10%, samples in folder. Let's see where that takes us. Maybe. Now we're somewhere completely different. Right, so if we wanted to, we could just print that into the track by hitting save, randomization applied. So now that's our new sample for this track. I actually like the previous idea, so in which case I could go shift, undo, and we're back to where we were. And going back to this fluid idea, you could randomize and print that parameter into track after track after track, as many as you'd like. So far, this is my favorite aspect or feature of the Polyend Play. Of course, we're gonna get a little bit deeper into that. I'm just scratching the surface at this point, so I'm sure that I'm gonna find some other things that I'm really interested in the future. And if I play this entire groove, you can see that some of the patterns are playing forward, some are playing backwards. So I don't know what's going on there. Something's skipping here, I forgot what I did. I also find that in comparison to other groove boxes and just electronic instruments in general, the learning curve is actually pretty quick with this thing. It looks scary at first, but it's very well organized, it's very linear, much like the tracker. Also, something else I should mention, I'm a very new user to the Polyend Play. They just released an update, what was it, 1.1 I think? I'm not sure which feature was added when, so if there's something that I'm doing on my Polyend Play that yours can't do, make sure to hit up the update. I've left a link for that in the description. Also, a big thank you to today's sponsor, DistroKid. If you're looking to distribute your music to major streaming platforms like iTunes, Spotify, make sure to give them a solid look, especially if you're an independent artist or producer. They're catered, they're made for us. And you know what, I got you. In case you're interested, there is a discount link in the description of this video as well. More on them later in the video. A few minor things that maybe you want to consider. Depending on where you're coming from, you might think that these are bad things, so let's just get these out of the way at the beginning of the video. They're minor. There's no way of programming LFOs into the Polyend Play. The closest thing to this is live record, so I'm gonna hit play. Okay, I'm gonna go to, let's go back to that same sample again. Right, so I just recorded that reverb into the track. And of course, if I wanna undo that, shift, undo. And that's back to normal. And if I want to go back on it, shift, redo. Reverb's back, undo. One other thing, all of these knobs here have capacitive touch, which is a good and a bad thing. It's good because let's say I'm on one of these pages and I want to switch parameters back and forth. So this is reverb and delay. I could either do that here, or I could just press the knob and it'll go back and forth. Although it's not super responsive. The thing is that let's say I'm just like twisting a parameter and I'm like sort of touching it. See, it goes back and forth, right? So you have to be really intentional when you add an effects. Just, you know, don't tap it. So far, those are the only like little nitpicky things that have stood out to me. Of course, in the future, I will let you know if there's anything else that kind of annoys me. So I've actually already thrown kick, snare, hi-hat on this pattern. We're just gonna mute hi-hat for now. This is kick, snare, and then snare layer. Keeping it simple for now, it's just a 1-bar pattern. You could, of course, increase the track length on a voice-by-voice pattern as well with right here. So let's say kick, 16 up to, how many steps? 64. So that's, what is that? 4 bars. But we're just gonna keep it simple. Oh boy, I hit the perform button there. Cool. There's also another interesting feature. Yes, track speed. So that's under tempo. I could change the speed of that track. So let's say I wanted to play halftime. That's the track speed, and then this is the rest, all the playheads for each of the other voices as well. I'm gonna go back to, I wonder what this would sound like, 2/3. Oh man, that's so interesting. Yeah, it's like a pattern in 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Interesting. Again, emphasis that you could change anything on a per track basis. As I mentioned earlier, these two knobs here, so chance, randomize, as well as the fill button, this is kind of the area that I've been exploring the most during my first impression of the play. These 3 elements alone help me produce things that I never would have otherwise. It's kind of like a roll the dice type situation. It's almost like the play is sort of suggesting ideas to you and you're able to just sculpt them along the way. And something I was just thinking about today, running vocal samples through this would be super fun. That'll be for another video. So I would like to sort of humanize these drums and give them some different texture, make them less square. So I'm going to solo the kick, randomize, let's say, I don't know, 30%, and I'm gonna change the texture. This is the one I've been using most for drums. Also sample length, let's try this. Something subtle for the kick. So that just inspired me to maybe add some sort of tom thing here. We'll get to that in a bit. 3, cool. Print that in. Let's go to snare. You know what? Snare and clap. We're gonna do these together. Same thing, texturize. Save, reverb. I'm going to unsolo these unmute these hi-hats. Very subtle. Same thing with this. Randomize. Okay. Go back to that randomize. I don't think I saved that one. Make sure I have the track selected. I could do this all day, guys. This is like my bread and butter, doing like subtle drum things like this. I love this kind of stuff. It just adds so much life to the drums. Right, so lots of movement going on there. Because there's so much movement with those hi-hats, I'm actually going to solidify and add something a little bit more solid on the upbeats with the hi-hats. So same thing here, I just added another layer. I'm gonna change the sample to, okay, I think there's delay on this one too. Dope. And also, something else I did with the hi-hats, I moved them. So there's like a micro move option if you want, right? You could move by, I guess, a step or a 16th note, or you could micro move. So currently we're 1 out of 24. Sort of, that sounds a bit phasey, but, so that's right down the middle. Something interesting about how the play sort of encourages a certain type of workflow. So sample, so if I move this around, any parameter that I change here, you could hear it. So even if I change low pass filter, all this kind of stuff. So you hear exactly what you're doing to the sample, but while you're playing your pattern, you don't have that option. I think of it as like a vibe check within the groove, sculpt. Vibe check within and you're just kind of going back and forth between those two dynamics. That being said, you could of course still change things on the fly while the beat is playing, you're just not hearing it. So like for example, I could change these hi-hats. Right? I don't want to lose track of like where I was going with this. There was something I wanted to add here, like some sort of fill. Tipadoom, like a tipadoom. shabadoo sample. Maybe even a kick. Doom, bum, bum, bum. Yeah. Definitely gonna texturize that part as well. Maybe even overdrive a bit. Yeah. Let's pan it. So again, I'm selecting an entire track from scratch here. We only have 2 tracks left, okay. And by the way, you could actually sample over top of one track. So let's say with these hi-hats, if I wanted to, I could just double these up here and have them all on the same track. And there we go, let's play it. Okay, so the only thing now is that we lost all of that texturizing. So you know what? We're actually going to undo all of that. Oh, there's only so many undos that you could do. Sorry guys. At least this gives you an idea of the workflow. Getting back to that melodic part, we're gonna select a full track, go into fill mode, select random, density, I don't know, 30. Let's do that. We're gonna choose a sample. Something quick and that's kind of cool. Percussive melodic thing. Back to fill mode, random. Okay, so then from here, we're gonna hit fill and then I don't really like the placement of those notes. So let's, choose a different density, hit fill. Very percussive. I'm not crazy about that sample. Let's bring that volume down. Delay. Dope. You know what? I think we're gonna have to take a little dust break here. Possibly my best studio tool. I'll take this opportunity to show you Chance, which honestly I haven't really gravitated towards because it's continuously random. Unlike random, it prints into however long the length of your sequence is. Chance is just continually random forever. Random in every sense of the word because also it's very atonal, especially with melodic stuff. So if I hit play, Chance, let's say 50%, no. Right, so that first sequence was cool. If that was printed in, that would be great, but it's just, there's certain instances where this could probably work really well with like any sort of generative atonal thing, but for what I'm going for, I don't know, Chance for me is just, it's not, I'm not gravitating towards it. Sequence navigation is another aspect of this instrument that really shines, but before that, a word from today's sponsor, DistroKid. If you are an independent artist or producer, DistroKid is just the way to go. There is a discount linked in the description, which I encourage you to use because it's a discount and also it really helps this channel, it helps me out. It's $20 a year to release unlimited music to all major streaming platforms. And the thing that makes it amazing specifically for independent artists and producers is just the sheer amount of free promotional tools that they offer to help promote your music. I use many of these tools on pretty much every single one of my releases and just like on my social media in general. My favorite one being Hyperfollow. It's essentially a free link and bio link. You could claim as many Hyperfollow pages as you'd like, free of charge. I use them as landing pages for my singles and also as a landing page for my social medias. I also like their promo cards, which I also use on every single one of my single releases. Just select the single that you want to promote and DistroKid will generate a promo card for that single. If you're an aspiring Twitch streamer, DistroKid essentially gives you instant access to become an affiliate member, which means that you could start earning money right away. This is just a few of many tools, $20 a year, unlimited music. It's kind of a no-brainer. Make sure to use that discount in the description. And now let's do the thing. Let's do the thing with the video. So navigation is sort of like an Ableton grid, but a hardware version of it. So here, check this out. Shift, I'm gonna select from here to here. All of that has been selected. If I wanna move that around, I can certainly do that. I'm really gonna mess up my pattern, but so I could do that, but something maybe a bit more practical, hit shift again. Maybe this little part here, like this little fill part, this would be a practical thing to move around, right? I kind of like it there too. As you can see, you could select any voice or length of pattern. Let's say if I just want to select one voice, I could also just move that around. On soloid as well. Also kind of cool. I'm not sure if you would include this under navigation, but you could change the sequence direction of voices as well within your patterns. And you could do that right here under play mode. So let's say, let's go to that melodic track that we added, play mode. Let's see what we can do with it. So now it's playing in reverse. As you can see, oh, that's so cool, I love that. Okay, you can also kind of chop it up. I'm not sure what any of these mean, but it's basically just like chopping it up, you know, different play points. The playhead is constantly moving, two-stepper. Okay, let's do something with this one now. It's gone, reverse. Yeah, boop, boop, boop. I kind of like it better going up. So you see, you get the point here. It's so interesting. So again, another big takeaway from the play is that it's suggesting parts for you, and then you could choose whether or not you actually like them and sort of sculpt from there. And that's one thing that I absolutely love about it, because it encourages you to come up with parts that you wouldn't otherwise, because it's making so many suggestions. Another really cool thing that stood out to me is repeat type. We're gonna add that to something. Let's do it on these hi-hats. Repeat type. So cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that as is. What about these hi-hats? Right, so we have, again, we have these hi-hats over top. If I mute this, like you're sort of losing momentum, although kick and snare is definitely holding it down. And then you have these solid hi-hats on the upbeats. Maybe the same thing on the melodic part, repeat type. Yeah. Oh God. And I mean, like, we have to do a comparison now. Pattern, this is the first pattern that I showed you at the beginning of the video. It's very similar. Very similar, but yeah. Which one do you like better? I think that pretty much covers it, my first impression specifically on the sequencer of the Polyend Play. As always, thank you guys for being here, always appreciate it. I would also appreciate it so much if you would like and subscribe. I also have a Discord that I don't talk about enough. It's very synthy. We shoot the shit about synth stuff, so it'd be nice to see you guys there as well. Everyone's welcome. I'm on a bunch of other social medias as well, so hit me up anywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Discord, Reddit, YouTube, all the things. I'm on all of them. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to attempt perform. Never touched this before. Let's see what happens. Ooh. See you later, guys.